Every other time with Eric, man, my favorite episodes to do. Finally, man, 23 years I have waited. I feel like that scene from Interstellar, man.
It's been a while.
This guy went for a few, like 30 minutes, but it's like the time zone was different. I feel older and wiser, bro.
A quick linear around a black hole, man.
How have you been? I missed you, man. How have you been, man?
Good.
Long time no see.
Yeah.
A lot has
been
a lot has happened since we last met, bro.
Yeah.
I
feel like you're here to talk to me, not the other way around. I'm like Dr. Phil. I'm okay. Things have been good. Life's been all right. Just quite busy. Flying's been good.
You finally have a nice kind of setup.
100%. Much like the best setup.
2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, or 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off, or 1 week on, 1 week off. So
for my fans who are aviator guys, I will put in the comments what you'd prefer. Do you prefer a roster where you fly 2 days, then 2 days off, or 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off? What do you prefer?
I think it's better because it gives you more time to do stuff with your time. Yeah.
So what do you do with your downtime, man?
The usual, the farm, man. Trying to get out of this consumer
trying to get off the grid
nonsense. I'm so tired of just being a sheep. So I'm trying to get out of that. Yeah. So farming, the usual, what I've been telling you. And not just farming, Kenyans and Kikuyus in general, we farm and then we have corn and then we have corn. Yeah, now let's make corn and let's make githeri and stuff like that. No. So ground down your maize meal and make something with it. Or if you have milk, churn it and make butter, Make products, make stuff.
For sale or for consumption?
Initially, we'll start with
how is fresh butter,
consumption,
man?
And then it's very good. It's very good.
Tasty.
It's very good. It takes getting used to, but it's very good. Yeah. And also
you guys have bees.
We actually on the way to having bees now. Yeah. We just finished the apiary now. Actually, yesterday. So it's just hectic.
Off camera, I was telling Rikie how we're catching up about life. I was just telling him how the kind of week I've had, man. Like, I had a interesting week. I was on leave, but I was busy. I was really doing quite a few things. And in that week, I ended up getting, I don't know if it's an anxiety attack or just overwhelmed. And we're just discussing the symptoms of that. I don't know if anyone has ever gone through this where you feel like the world is closing in. You have racing thoughts. You can't sleep. You can't breathe. Or rather, you feel like you can't breathe. And it's just a crazy psycho experience, man. And at some point, you're just longing for air and and for daylight, and nothing helps. Yeah, I stood up and get out of bed, turn on the light, look in the mirror, wash my face with water. Nothing's helping. So I'm like, but anyway, I saw a doctor. He told me you need to just chill, man. Yeah. He told me I'm drinking way too much coffee.
100%.
I described to him how much coffee I drink, but I was going overboard, man. I was doing the Eric thing, man. I was. Bro, I've been my routine has been in reverse. So, Jobo, then wee hours I'll go to the gym, then before gym I'll take a coffee. After gym I'll take a coffee, come back, sleep a bit during the day, wake up, shoot a pod,
coffee again,
or go do and then I'm surviving on coffee like the whole day. Yeah. And at some point I was like, you see, for me, coffee is not affecting me.
There's nothing like that.
Bro, that shit caught up.
Caffeine is in your body for 12 hours.
It caught up with me in a major way, and I actually now have a fear and a respect for coffee. My wife was telling me, like, part of also what I'm going through is also because I'm weaning myself off coffee. It also has such like symptoms. Yeah. So that anxiety I felt, bro, you can blow your brains out. Of course, I never reached that point, because I have so many things that I care about. There's no way on earth. Suddenly I didn't have the gun in the room. It was in the safe, so it was a bit far. Yeah. But no, for real, I went through that once. I think I once called you when I was in Juba many years ago. I once went through the same thing. Yeah. I just never want to go through that again.
Did I call you when I had mine?
Yeah. No, yours happened during COVID.
COVID, yeah.
Lockdown.
When I was locked in.
Damn.
I almost jumped out the window.
Man.
Dude, that was hectic.
I feel bad for people who have like constant anxiety or like proper schizophrenia or mental health issues, because that's your life like 24/7, bro. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm back to normal. The doctor just said, like, rest.
Yeah, and caffeine, cut your caffeine out.
He said, cut your caffeine out. Like, go easy on the gym for this week, relax, rest, like, get your sleeping, get your hours in. We guys last night I slept, I think by like 80 guys, like good night.
When you said weaning, so how?
I don't know, I'm not taking any coffee.
At all. So
Right.
you're cold turkey.
Hey, right now, I'm off coffee for now, man. Yeah. That, every time I go back to that feeling, hey, soup my.
Oh no. It's not a good feeling at all, man. Yeah, I remember the worst thing about it is you think that by doing one thing you'll recover from it. So like you said, okay, waking up,
stand up,
okay, oh, it's still there. Put the light on, oh, it's still there.
Put your face,
okay, you know
for
what?
air.
I need air. Put your face out the window, it's still there. Go outside, it's still there. To the point where I was like, yo, I wish I have this feeling where I wish I could leave my body and just relax up there.
Which brings me to something, because the whole of last week I was having lucid dreams, and lucid dreams are something people romanticize. It's supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be nice because you're kind of aware
in control,
that you're dreaming. But for me, all up until even today, like every time I've knocked out, I am aware that I'm asleep. I'm aware of what's going on outside. Like before you came, I literally, and I know my fans might think I'm crazy, but this literally happened. You had the kids playing outside. I literally like left the window and I was outside looking at them. I could see them playing, but I was also asleep and I was aware that I was asleep. So I've been having a lot of lucid dreams, but I'm not enjoying it, man.
Yeah, but lucid dreams happen when you're tired or when you're in that space between falling asleep and being awake. So most of the time, that's when you're napping, when you're tired. Early mornings or during naps, that's when you'll have lucid dreams. Like when you're basically just about to wake up.
I think 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off would be perfect because you know exactly what your schedule is.
Yeah.
Because I know my schedule, but it's all over. So there are early mornings.
But also, you know, if you're busy, if you're someone who's coming back to, party and just chill, and then yes, it could go bad for you, and also it could be good. But for me, I come back and I'm straight back to running, whatever I'm doing, and trying to get off grid is also not easy. But Jim, shout out Jim. Jim has been a great release, man. Like punching, hitting the bag. That's something. If I didn't have Jim in this whole equation, I'd probably be worse off, man. 100%. Yeah, it'd be. You need to use that extra testosterone that you're just building up. Yeah, you need to expound. Get rid of it somehow.
I think I also have a bit of what people call. It's like it's a warped version of not survivor's remorse, but I feel like I have to make up for lost time because I lost a lot of time with my struggles, man. So now that I'm healthy and okay, I think I sometimes push things. Every time I see a possibility, I'll go for it.
Yeah,
I'm like, there's no leaving it behind. Yeah. Like, why am I leaving it behind?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so
that's just being a guy, man. That's just being a man.
Studying for exams as well. I have 2 left. That was also a grind. It's been nasty process, man.
See, guys, I told you I'm here to listen.
Nasty ass process, man. Yeah, shout out to all my people doing exams while holding down a day job or doing a course, man. That shit sucks, man. Really
I can imagine.
It really sucks that I'm doing a master's and I'm also in flying.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I feel like if I could be given a kite to fly as opposed to learning a new aircraft. Oh my God.
Are you learning?
It's going to be inevitable.
Are you having to learn a new aircraft?
It's going to be inevitable.
I think you need the change, though. You've been on the same aircraft for long, man.
Yeah, but I'm not I'm not willing to move unless the arrangement I have right now is still there with the new one, or if the people I'm with right now, who are actually quite very good people, are still on that journey with me. Let's put it that way.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so if the agreement is there, then it works. Otherwise, yeah.
A lot has changed, man, since we last met, man.
Yeah, a lot has changed, even for me, bro.
Trump pulled some tariffs.
My goodness.
What do you think about the tariffs?
I love it. Okay, initially there's going to be pain, so my goodness.
It kind of backfired,
It has not.
It kind of backfired.
It has not backfired at all.
It made China look like they have their dick swinging, man.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You see, this is what we call class one. A class one understanding of yes, a class one understanding of global
It backfired.
economics. It did not. How did it backfire?
Because he tried to put tariffs on things like telephones, mobile phones, electronics, and China just pushed back, and it ended up working out in their favor. Eventually, he had to bow, and he tried to bow out quietly. He tried to really be quiet about it, but of course, people picked up on it, and
Okay,
so it just showed China are just not.
I think the back and forth with, you see, I'm trying to structure my thoughts around this whole conversation. So let's start at the very beginning. The whole reason for tariffs, why people bring in tariffs, is to promote the production or the manufacture of goods in that host country, right? So let's leave China out of the equation first for now. Let's talk about the EU, for example. You've seen how the tariffs have affected the EU, yeah? Because at the end of the day, the biggest, the economy that people want access to, even Americans themselves, is the American market, yeah? So with the EU, it has worked, but also they're basically for three reasons why they're being done, yeah? So number one is, of course, to get manufacturing back or turn America back into a manufacturing economy.
On what scale, though? Because that was also
it wouldn't be on
that was also put into
on
question.
the largest scale.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be on the largest scale, but at least it'll improve.
First
Look
of all,
at Detroit, places like Detroit that were once
I'll ask Fox to
manufacturing
put
hubs.
a depiction of some of the AI China did, just showing America going back into like manufacturing mode. Just put some of those depictions, man. Actually, was hilarious, man.
So what does that have to do with anything?
It was funny. It was funny.
Slave labor there, not here. I mean, I didn't really understand.
But it speaks to the reality of the situation in terms of how the system works. It almost works because of how it exists in terms of cheap labor on this side. That's a reality. That's
not just cheap, almost slave labor.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
On one side, but slave labor here, not there. I didn't get the joke. I didn't get how
you're biased.
Cool it is. And I am a bit biased, but listen to what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm listening.
Just give it a chance, okay? So number one, like we said, to get people to get America back to a more or less manufacturing country, it will never be at the same level as China, obviously.
Of course.
But it'll at least improve some levels of manufacturing, yeah? So the second one is to ensure that that the EU, NATO, and the other characters
are paying their
dues. America can't just foot the bill for everyone, okay? And even all the way
that footing the bill for everyone is very much tied to also their supremacy. Like it's tied very closely to why they've always been looked at as the superpower. It's part of that thing it's the way a certain uncle pays the bill at dinner. Like it's all tied to that.
But you can't just piggyback off someone. You can't just piggyback off someone forever. So I'll give you an example with Greenland, for example. People kind of don't understand that there's two Trumps. There's Trump of screw you guys, this is what's gonna happen. The loudmouth Bill Maher actually had he went to the White House to meet him, and he literally said the same thing. There's two Trumps. So there's one that you see on TV, that the way he portrays himself looks a bit like a dunderhead, right?
The bravado Trump.
And then there's now the businessman, the smart, intelligent guy who's behind the scenes. However, whenever someone says Trump is stupid, he's trying to buy Greenland. He's threatening to buy Greenland. Why is he threatening to do that? Because Denmark and Canada are not doing their part. Well, Denmark is not doing their part, and Canada is not protecting that region. They're not paying their way. What did they do immediately? He started talking about that. They upped their game. They started paying their fair share.
But I think it's plain
that corridor is very important to
it's mineral rich.
Not even just mineral rich, to Western interests, because submarines and naval vessels, a lot of them pass around that area, and obviously the Eastern blocs, that's Russia and China, also utilize that area. So you can't just depend on one country to
I don't think
that bill when it's you say that it's your
I don't think in 2025 anyone really thinks Trump is dumb in that cliche way for like 2016. I think he's proven himself. Anyone with eyes can see that there's two sides to this coin. Like Trump postures almost, the dumb look he does is almost intentional because it appeals to a certain psyche or a certain voter block that he needs. But beyond that, anyone with eyes can see that there's so much more to this guy. Bro, just even him being where he is today is testament to that fact. Other global leaders know that fact. I just like how the fact that China also let their nuts hang. Like, for the longest time, China have been like the behind the scenes. They've postured as keyword postured as the honorable giant. As guys know.
Yeah.
But this time they're like, nah, man. No. So let's
see how it goes, though.
Let's see. Time will tell.
I was arguing with a friend of mine.
Chinese guy.
He looks Chinese actually, just black. You know who you are if you're gonna watch this. So, and he funny enough, he also spent some time in China. He's always on the other side. So we have a lot of these back and forths. This is chess that people are playing right now. Yeah, we're watching the chess pieces being put on the board, and it cannot. This guy has been in office for less than 150 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what happens.
Of course, we're watching. No one has crazy.
You have to really zoom out and look at the market. Include that 18.6 year cycle that I keep crying about, the real estate cycle that I keep talking about here. Include that 18.6 year cycle. Include the fact that quantitative tightening has been imposed in the States by Powell since 2022. And also include the fact that Powell, who's a very, very intelligent guy, by the way, is not going to bow to what Trump is trying to tell him to do. And the only way that he will bow is if the economy reacts in a particular way enough to push him enough to say that, now we need to start reducing interest rates significantly so the economy can now start improving. And that's literally what Trump wants.
I think, hate him or love him, Trump will go down as one of the most legendary presidents the world has ever seen. Like 100 years from now, 200 years from now, he'll be studied as such an enigma and such a disruptor. The guy just came and disrupted the whole system. And
they literally tried to do everything to stop him.
They literally tried to kill him.
Twice.
And I feel like people always try and skim over the fact that they actually tried to kill Donald Trump, man. So much so that some people say that it was staged.
Staged? When I hear people say that shit.
But let's not to just politic though, but let's bring it close to home also. Like, what do you think about what's happening in Kenya right now?
Try to avoid Kenyan politics. I want to end up in.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to be specific. You don't have to say so and so.
No, I think we're in the middle of quite a disruption. Actually, the whole world is. Everyone was betting for the world to go in a certain direction, more the globalist kind of direction, where the elites kind of dictate exactly what is going to happen, country by country, through unelected bodies, like WHO.
The globalists.
Oh yeah, literally the globalists. Alex Jones
the globalists
was 100% right.
And I used to tell Rikie that he used to think I was wacky.
Yeah. So. And now the superpower is kind of pulling itself out of that. However, there's still.
But aren't you seeing that? Don't you feel like that people are the purported figureheads or the guys who are meant to spearhead that globalist movement on behalf of the wider movement are in some form of like denial, especially here.
They are. Here, I think.
Bro, here the writing's on the wall for everyone to see, except the guys are not seeing.
Yeah.
And sometimes you think like they're playing, they're posturing as, you have to appear tough. Like,
but you could literally see the cards the chess pieces being put out. Vaccination of animals. Monsanto coming in with seeds.
You guy.
Bill Gates all of a sudden coming in
But he pulled out, or rather, I think the pressure was too much.
But also that's also because of the changing order. I mean, look at the state of Hollywood, dear Lord. What the hell are they making nowadays? It's absolute trash. Has to have a message. Has to have, bro. Have you seen this movie on Amazon Prime called?
I've been
Don't watch it.
I've
Don't
been
watch
so
it.
disconnected from like movies and film. I'm more of a new media guy. That's what I consume.
When you get time, go look up a movie called G20.
It's in the name,
Bro. The amount of propaganda in that thing.
But
are
people buying into that propaganda anymore?
That's what I'm saying, though. The world is shifted.
Because
You see, these guys made these bets. They made these bets before they knew that there was going to be such a shift culturally. Yeah, people are a lot more conservative right now. A lot more conservative. Tim Dillon said it best. If you wanna be a rebel right now, you become a Christian. You become like more hardcore Jesus. You know, you go for Ash Wednesday. You start doing Lent. Those are the rebels right now. Yeah. Otherwise, everyone else is just showing their asshole online, man. Like it's horrible.
No, but not to kiss Trump's ass too much. But I feel like Trump's win was a win for the new movement, and the new movement is not so intentional. It's just people who are like, yeah, nah, I'm not moving that direction. I'm just going to do my own thing naturally. It's not so not so stancy.
It's true.
It's just living.
It's true.
And it showed that. I mean, the guys who genuinely thought Kamala was gonna clean sweep, and the media, because MSNBC was saying that it's gonna be a clean sweep, and this just showed that things have kind of changed, and people are kind of doing things their own way, and people are aware. So what I keep finding incongruent in Kenya is the powers that be here seem to be in a state of denial for real. There's denial for we can't show cracks because we have to appear a certain way, but they seem to genuinely not understand what's really happening. And I think that's because they've been in a system that's been like that for so long. They can't imagine that change has come.
Well, have you seen the effects of Kenyans actually wanting to go their own way somewhat?
What do you mean? Expound on that.
Like less governance, because we don't really have a left and right kind of government, say, arrangement.
I think we're kind of building our identity in terms of left-right around the figureheads that we have now. And what's been coming to show is that these guys have just been kowtowing sana to the left of the West.
I see.
Our leaders that exist here. But right now, there's the movement around. People are just tired of the old guard in general. We don't care if you're left, right, centrist or whatever, left, center. We've not even reached there. Guys are just tired of 34 years of seeing the same guys. We've seen you for 34 years. Nothing much. If anything, our lives have gotten harder. We can see generationally, like with some of the resources we have now, we're able to do less than perhaps our parents were able to do. You think about it this way, Rikie, in our capacity in terms of our career. Same exact jobs 34 years back. Bro, we'd be balling. We'd be buying land in Karen. Yeah. Those would be the conversations we're having. Wouldn't be struggling to try and make ends meet here and there, So I think people have reached that realization that this is a direct consequence of bad governance. Yeah. And people have had it. Yeah. And then in come a generation right after us who are perhaps not as experienced, but they're braver. They have less facts to give.
Because they have less to lose.
They have less to lose. These guys they don't even have, us guys can stand on some semblance of, at least have a career.
You don't even have that.
You can be taken seriously somewhere in the world. Yeah. These guys have nothing, and it's literally because of it was robbed from them. So when you hear all these chants left, right, center, so and so must go, so and so must go, bro, I think, and the more they try to quell that voice, the louder
it's gonna get.
It's just gonna get. So,
but I remember I was on the shitter another night, late at night, and Eric sent me some posts that really, really, really grinded my gears. Oh my God, the one about, I think it was Gates talking about something about UBI.
Yeah.
Or something,
but that's more on a philosophical tangent. I sent Rikie a post of there's this speech, I think, where Bill Gates is talking about how the world is going to evolve to a point where we won't be working for the purpose. The essence and purpose of living will not just be around our basic needs. So I need a salary so I can provide, so I can eat, so I can have a roof over my head, etc. It's going to be more about everyone's going to have some form of equitable share of whatever the world has to offer. And through that, you have a UBI. We had this discussion with Kina Sajid, Universal Basic Income, where everyone will have their basics sorted. Then now from there, you just figure out what you want to do with life.
Sorting the basics?
Second?
Who's sorting the basics? Gates. That's the whole point.
It's the machine. So in most likely, whatever AI has become at that point, and whoever runs and owns the back end of that AI, probably.
Yeah. And that's what these guys want. They want to turn us into consumers.
That's what he won't even be around. So
it doesn't matter. I don't know. Maybe he'll be like Walt Disney and
freeze himself.
So I feel like that's what all of this this progressive politics all has to do with consumption. All has to do with consumption. The very reason why women have been pushed and made to feel independent, that they can do anything a man can, that they can do this, it's so that you can come and work. Get out of your home, go work. Once you work, the state can now tax you and make more money off of you. So they increase their tax base. Not only that, they increase the amount of money that those ladies now can use on, just.
Are you insinuating that ladies wanting to have careers is all been engineered socially?
Yes.
Of course it has.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I feel like, I'll give you another example. I don't know if I've used this example on this before, where I was talking about where tobacco companies back in the day advertised to women, telling them to come out with their torches of freedom. To come out with their torches of freedom. And immediately, almost overnight, they got 50% more
customers. Yeah.
Because back in the day, it was like taboo for women to smoke. So that's just another way that they use it. Nowadays, it's the effemination, if I can use that word, of men. So that you can increase the amount of... How many products do you use on your face?
Yeah, me, I'm a guy of straight up Arimis only.
So
Arimis, man. Whatever goes on those others, nigga. All this face right here, nigga.
So I think I even maybe use a few more products than you, I'd say. But it's not to that point where you're using like ladies, where you have a whole fridge full of stuff.
You forget I've lived with you, bro.
Bro, things have changed.
Bro.
Things have changed.
This guy was a
beef
guy.
tallow, nice beef tallow.
This guy was a guy of the works, man. Garnier. They had you, bro. You've just escaped their grip, eh?
Yeah, bro. I had to shake a leg, man. I had to shake a leg real quick. But it's just to make us consumers. Yeah?
Do you worry about, and this is literal, not figurative, because we romanticize government being toppled, and but I don't see how, and this is an honest, I'd say this off camera, on camera, privately, publicly, I don't see how objectively, I'm not on either side, I don't see how these guys justify or can prove that they won the next election. I don't see how. Especially the sentiment that's out there right now. Even if you try purport to rig, purport to have everyone on your side, bring everyone on your side, bro, it can't.
That I don't know about. I mean, I'm not going to go down that path. But what I think is this.
Are you scared?
What? The state is the most powerful,
of course,
instrument in the world.
Yeah.
Anyone who thinks who thinks that's not the case is a fool.
No one thinks otherwise.
And
so, are you scared to have an opinion because you feel like they can come for you?
I don't know. I'm scared of me. I'm paranoid of everything and everyone. I'm usually quite a paranoid guy, so I tend to keep to myself as well. That's why you hear me talking about. I'm more of a libertarian. I would like to just be left alone to do my thing. I just want to do my thing. I feel like I'm a lot more outspoken on things that affect my immediate community. Yeah.
But this one is going to affect, and that's what I'm coming to, and that's what I was actually saying, because I get the sentiment on being libertarian, but this one is like there's a trailer coming, and we're acting like there's no trailer coming. Whether you're actively involved, passively involved, just an observer, the result is going to be the same.
And what do you suggest we do?
No, I don't know, because it's scary that, bro, I feel like this time around there could be, there's this post-election. I feel there'd be like pre, during, post, because if a guy is trying to purport to, imagine if all polling stations have guys lining up while chanting Thomas Go, and then a guy claims to win. What does that do? Like, that it's a scary thing. It's a scary idea.
Yeah, but as much as we would assume that would be the case, there's a limit to the amount of rigging that they can be.
But
yeah. So of course, I mean, I think that I don't know. I think that whatever will happen will happen.
Pussy.
I think that whatever will happen will happen. And
if that's an evasive answer.
Whatever will happen. Yeah, whatever will happen will happen. And I feel like of course Kenyans are not stupid. I doubt this will ever turn into Sudan. Yeah, I doubt it will ever get to that point. And even our leaders, as much as we do not have faith in them, I don't think that they would let it get to that point. And I may be naive, but I do not think that they would allow.
You think they would yield?
Wanton violence to destroy our country? I don't think so.
Okay.
As much as we may think what we think of him, I do not think.
Who?
The people who think that way. For me, I try to refrain from. It's not really fear. I feel like I try to refrain from having an opinion on local politics. I like being as Switzerland-esque as I can. Yeah, I don't want anyone to say that I've formed a particular opinion. The things that I agree with what he's done, are things that I do not agree.
I'm curious, what do you agree with?
I was initially on the fence about the increments in tax. Yeah. In the previous bill, of course, there were certain things I didn't agree with, land taxes and the likes. But I am of the complete understanding that we have to pay our debt. We don't want to get into a position where we lose the faith of the international community because we're unable to pay our debts.
The slave master.
Yeah. So I didn't want. Of course, when there were talks about increasing taxes and doing this and that, I was like, yes, definitely, we should step up and do our part and get rid of our debts, right? However, being Kenya, there's also a lot of corruption going on, and a lot of the money that we would have gotten through those various methods may not have reached where it was supposed to reach. So I agree with the situation, the way that he was going, but I don't know how it would have been implemented so that it could do the right thing.
You talked about class 1 level. Now you sound like the class 1, because there's this there's
class 1 level understanding, but form 4 level ducking. That's what it is.
844. No, that's of course on a lighter note, man. So, but there's this new buzzword that's come around, and with a lot of facts and evidence, and the fact that a lot of our debt is actually odious. Odious debt meaning that we're not supposed to pay it as it's being told to us to pay it, because a lot of it was not taken through the channels as prescribed by the Constitution, and a lot of it was funneled for other things, and there's tons of paper trail to prove. As recently as I think 2 weeks ago, a week ago, Okia Mtata episode, the government or the former regime and the current regime to court for if you know Okia Mtata, he's a senator, he's also a serial litigator. He's an activist. He's someone who's always fought for the truth, always fought for Kenyan rights, braver than you and I combined times 10. And I mean, there's so much to prove that, yes, a lot of our debt is indeed odious. There's a country, I think, somewhere where they forgetting the name, another African country that went the same route, and eventually the debt had to be forgiven because
Is it Ghana?
Not Ghana. Ghana ended up having they're struggling to pay their debt. I'm forgetting. It was around a tuna bond, small country. Put it in the comments anyway.
Cameroon?
No. But
it was a West African country.
Yes, and bro, I mean, some of this debt, I mean, to the tune of trillions of shillings, clearly it can be shown through paper trail that, yeah, most of this money was not used for what it was meant to be used. It was just funneled. And right from the beginning, so like if I'm borrowing money from you, and the first step is tuweke kwa hii account, tusiweke kwa yangu, tuweke kwa hii, yeah? And right from the beginning, you can just see there's a rat right there. So I get your sentiments around us paying tax. It's the right thing to do. But that's more from like a Kibaki-esque kind of era approach where we did need to pay our debts that we owed, because in as much as being stolen, some of it was used for the right thing. But it's a different dispensation now. So
you think that the system is kind of rotten somewhat?
To the core, bro.
Yeah.
To the core, bro. And people are also feeling like, if I'm going to pay more, even if I decide to be that upstanding guy and say, yes, you know what, it's noble to pay tax, which it is. In most countries, people pay tax honorably. But for a fact, either it's being pilfered, or it's not going to what it's supposed to be used for, or it's maybe not even owed in the first place. And then also, my earning power hasn't improved. So that's usually also the biggest pinch that people are feeling, like I'm earning the same, paying more tax, and things are getting harder and worse. So it's not like it's not being justified. So I think that's the pain point for most. Okay, Pole. It's just it's a podcast.
Yeah.
Not scared. He thought
he's about to grow wings.
Yeah. So sometimes, of course, I talk recklessly, but that's just the truth, man. Yeah. These are the things that people are complaining about. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's change that.
Switching gears. Also, something that I keep hearing around in my circles of people, people are talking around, your wife is foreign. We don't have to get specific, but dual citizenship is a common conversation right now.
Uh-huh.
And I think right now it would behoove anyone who has the ability
to do it,
to get
100%.
Because, bro, things
you
are
need a second option. You not only for the actually for just if you can remember, just 4 years ago, whatever, there was a virus going around that prevented a lot of people from traveling.
Was it Cyrus the virus?
Cyrus the virus.
Yeah,
you can imagine. I mean, certain people like in Australia weren't even able to leave their countries. But if you have a second passport, then you're able to use that passport to leave or to at least get out of that country. Yeah. So 100%, if you're able to get a second passport, you should do it. I
think also, of course, that's one angle, an extreme angle, but also just to have access to better systems, better fortunes, if one can say so. Could be healthcare, could be just economic environment, could be schools.
It comes with there are pros and cons. I also don't want to mess up my chances of getting that passport.
South Sudan for sure. South Sudan. Kir.
No, but especially, and I'm assuming because you said better healthcare, you're probably talking about a Western passport.
Yeah.
And by Western passport, you're probably talking about a Scandinavian passport, most probably.
Western. Let's keep it vague.
Okay, so it depends. We do not understand the cultures of a lot of these people. The reason why their culture works, the reason why their system works, is because they are coalescent around a particular culture.
Mm.
They are able to do well because they all understand the benefits of contributing to their system.
Mm.
On the other hand...
But there's also a trust factor there.
That trust, exactly. On the other hand, you bring in Kamau in, say, Norway.
Shout out Kamau, man. Thanks for being such a huge fan for every other time.
That's you, Kamau. So you bring in Kamau. Kamau is going to be like, yo, how do we know that these guys are are using these taxes in the right way? How do we know?
No,
we
pause,
don't know.
pause,
You never know.
pause.
Wait. You never know. Then Kamau will start ducking taxes, avoiding taxes.
Is that really the case?
Trying to benefit from welfare, the welfare society. You talked about universal basic income. These guys already have something similar to that, where you put on a welfare system. If you're unemployed, the state gives you money. How many guys do you think would jump on that boat?
But I don't think that's a trust factor in terms of them not trusting the state. I think that's a cultural thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, you come from a point where you're being corrupt and just being dodgy is part of your culture. But a lot of guys go and conform accordingly. A lot of guys leave Kenya, and perhaps here maybe you've been chasing because you know that they're chasing with you. And as soon as you land on the other side, you conform because, bro, I mean, let's look at the public transport system, look at the healthcare system, look at the school system. I mean, it speaks for itself.
It depends, but there are many cases of Abdul having 5 wives, and 5 of those wives on unemployment benefits. And you know, each wife or each person is given that money, and then they say that they're living in different places, yet they're living in one apartment. These things happen. I mean, not just these things happen. These things are happening. And these, of course, the main countries that are affected by this are Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. And it's not the natives that are doing that. It is people, people from Syria and Afghanistan and Somalia and the likes.
And also refusing to
take advantage of this system.
And also refusing to conform to like the culture there.
Exactly.
But see, that's a vetting issue. That would be like a vetting issue on the whole state, because and that's why some of these things are. I mean, I don't think it's so easy to get for second passport, second citizenship.
Here's my vetting. Let me stop you right there. Here's my vetting. Don't let them come in. How about that? Okay, not Dubai, the UAE. Can you become a citizen of the UAE?
Nah.
Never. Not now.
Nah, but if
you can't even.
If I was a single and unmarried man and some UAE
only
chick just fell in love. Like, wow, every other time, Eric, it's like I want that guy. Yeah.
Only by marriage. Yeah. Only by marriage.
Yeah.
Saudi the same, I think. Qatar the same. So you can't get the passport. How come it's not the same?
But you see, that's a prerogative.
Let me cook. So, the reason why they do that is because for them, they do not care what you think about their system, the way they do things. They do things because they like to do things in that way. And you will not call them. You can call them racist all day, all night. They do not give a fuck. On the other hand, Europeans and Western societies have now become so, what's the word?
Accommodative?
Yes, too accommodating. Too accommodative. To the point where it's affecting them in a bad way. Look at the UK.
But I think they're gonna reach that point. I think they're reaching that point where they're gonna push back. But I think it all starts with prerogative, bro. Like the whole state probably knows the reasons why initially they were like that, but of course through experience they'll also realize like, we need to tighten our procedures, and we need to not let certain people in who have certain tendencies, in as much as we're trying to be the best. Sweden I think went a bit far in terms of being accommodative, man.
Germany
and they've paid a hefty price for it, man. A lot of, especially things around crime, you see, like that. But I was just talking in a general sense. Like I think Kenyans pretty much, for the most part, we tend to thrive wherever we go. We're hardworking people. We are well educated. We're well focused. We're well versed with global issues. So, an upstanding, normal Kenyan, hardworking guy, chick, put in the right environment, given a chance. Most guys just, look at guys, the wonders people have done in the States, in Europe. Guys, thrive.
Why do you think that is?
Because we end up conforming. And taking
but also because we were brought up in a certain way.
We take advantage positively. So,
and what way?
Like, wait, you guys are not making because you're lazy? Wait a minute.
Yeah. But I think it's also because we were brought up in a certain way. We gel well with the Western way of living because we were brought up in a somewhat Western way ourselves.
True.
Yeah. So if, in fact, I saw Denmark was had started, was thinking of starting, correct me if I'm wrong, a system where they educate nurses or take nurses from here, take them to Denmark, and then they work there, and then now, after a certain amount of time, they can apply for
Citizenship.
for citizenship, residency, and then citizenship through that path. Why are they choosing Kenyans? Because we have a similar Christian kind of based upbringing, yeah, and that's why they gel. Pamoja. But if you bring someone who is not of the same kind of understanding as you, not the same upbringing, not the same social values, not the same respect for women, and and it's just insane to me that Western people will talk shit about anything else, apart from Muslim-backed Muslim countries. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, they tell
When those are the places where that require feminism the most, they will never ever say anything about it. Why? I was watching Rogan the other day, and they were saying there was an interesting discussion that they were talking about. What is the word for what is the phrase or word for dislike of Jewish people?
I have no idea.
Anti-Semitism, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Islam?
Islamophobia.
What about the one for Christians?
Normalcy, I don't know.
It's literally not there because people don't give a fuck about Christians.
But there's a cultural thing attached to that as well, in terms of even how well we stand up for our own belief systems. In terms of, it's inculcated in some of these belief systems that you kill or you oppress or you subjugate anyone who speaks against your belief system. In Christianity, it's love your neighbor, man.
Yeah, love your neighbor, forgive each other, enemy. Turn the other cheek. But look at what it has created. That's debatable. Look at what it's created. It's created
so what's the solution?
A prosperous, more than 2,000 plus years.
What's the solution?
Of science, of art. That is what it has created. What is the solution? My goodness, everyone should just stay in their own place. That's what I think. Everyone stay in their own place. Just chill.
I think that
don't. When you're going somewhere, yeah, you can go and visit, appreciate someone else's whatever, but just go back. That's it.
Like once you're done,
appreciate when you're done, go back. Don't try go there and change people.
But time immemorial, that's a hard sell, because time immemorial, before even some of these systems existed, but people traveled, people moved, people always were out of pure curiosity, out of a want for better.
Yeah,
that's standard ops.
What were the two greatest civilizations that were kind of around at the exact same time?
We talk about greatest, my guy, man.
Genghis
Khan.
So I think that was around, it was after. No, Genghis was in the year 1100. Yeah, 1100.
Shout out Genghis Khan, man.
And of course, I'm talking about Rome and Carthage. These were two societies that were parallel to each other, just across is that the Mediterranean? Is it? Yes.
It is the Mediterranean.
Yes, it is. The Phoenicians, they even talk about it in the Bible. These guys were living in peace for a very long time, across from one another, until they decided to start meddling in each other's bullshit. Phoenicians would go to Romans and trade and then come back. Romans would go and trade with Phoenicians and go back. Until they now said, let's try to intervene in Roman politics, and Rome the same. So for over 100 years, these guys started fighting. I don't know if you've heard about the Punic Wars, or 3 Punic Wars. Anyway, so my point is that even when a culture is completely different from another one, they can still thrive as long as each one of them is growing in their own lane.
But I think even when you think about how, because we grew up pretty integrated in Kenya. I mean, we went to schools with all cultures, and the basis of us coexisting was respect for each other. No one was trying to make the other do anything. Everyone was.
Why do you think that is?
No, I'm just saying. I'm agreeing with you.
It's true.
Like even when you think about our high school, bro, when it came to religious beliefs, You guys go for your thing, go worship God the way you guys know how to worship God.
Yeah.
And then we meet at lunch.
Yeah.
And then you play games.
And then you play games and no one cares.
Yeah.
That's because we were in a Catholic school or a Christian school. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was the other way around, there's no other God you're praying to. And that is a fact. Let's be real.
Although fun enough, there's one area they did not give. You could not be an atheist officially.
Oh yeah, you couldn't. I almost got in trouble for that. By the way,
yeah, I remember.
And by the way, funny enough,
it's actually a form in a form.
And by the way, funny enough, I'm still atheist. Yeah. I still don't believe in a higher power, but I just believe in. I think through reason, I've seen that the teachings of
it's good for humanity.
Of Christianity, because of the freedoms that are allowed. You know, it's just a better way of being, yeah. I don't want to get into detail on examples and stuff, but I'm just saying.
So let's end nicely. So you've touched on the fact that you're atheist, man. Let's talk about that a bit. Back to the episode, because I'm going through, or rather, I've gone through. I've come to the realization that I think nobody knows really what's going on in this world, past and present. And I think purporting to know, and what I mean by no one knows, I mean the bigger picture, like who's controlling what, what's the real origin story? Is there life among us? I understand some of the organizational principles that come around even with religion, and I appreciate them. I've been a beneficiary of them, and believing in some of these things end up having empirical experiences for you. So, and that's just the power of belief, So, what do you think the origin story is?
I think God is time. I think
was time always there?
God is time, and time has always been there. I think time is a concept that we also don't understand, because time may have always been there and is always there and will continue to be there. I think of time as a loaf of bread. Yeah.
Should be providing lunch for.
So basically, you have this loaf, yeah, and it has slices. And right now we're in this slice. But the other slices are still there.
So everything's
happening. And the other slices have always been there.
So past, present, future.
Happening
at the same time?
Happening at the same time. The past is inaccessible, but the future is accessible. We were talking about black holes and the likes. You can never go back in time.
So time doesn't...
But relatively, you can go ahead of time. If you traveled at... If you traveled at the speed, 99%, you can't travel at the speed of light, but if you traveled at 99% of the speed of light and came back to Earth, millions of years will have passed. Yeah? For you, none of that would, time would have just been the same. So that's kind of what I'm saying. I feel like time is God, basically. Can we even comprehend what 2,000 or 4,000 years is? If I say something like
200 years, bro.
If I say something like mammoths were there at the same time as the pyramids of Giza, like when they were being built.
I've seen some of those.
Yeah, or if I say that the Romans the pyramids are as old to the Romans as the Romans are as old to us.
It's mind-boggling.
Makes you kind of realize.
But a curious question. I like what you said about time in terms of it's all happening at the same time, but when you talk about like the past, so the past does not become just in terms of stored energy through memory once it's already happened. So is right now 2 minutes ago happening, or it happened and we have record of it?
I think the only access that we have to the past is through these guys right here.
And memory, of course.
That's it. And of course your memory. But these guys make it easier.
You know what I think is happening?
But I don't think it's accessible, like you go back to it.
The more I look at things, the more I understand programming, and the more I see how programming works, I'm like, it's more so than likely that this is some form of program of some higher entity. Like, I think the chances of that, I would bet on that as opposed to the conventional story. I feel like the chances that there's a superior race that... I mean, even when scientists say they find computer code in nature and so many things in, astronomy, in just how nature is set up, leaves and all of that, I think it's more likely that this is some form of software program that's running now. And all of that exists within the concept of time and all of that. So for me, that's more likely. Yeah.
I feel like that.
And then someone, sorry,
uh-huh.
and no one has been able to counter the simulation theory. Like, how is that not what's happening? Because just from a basis of technological advancement, it can't not then be that. Because if, like you say, if a game looked like Pong in 1970 and Super Mario in 1990 and GTA in 2004 and whatever is out there right now that's so advanced that Rikie, myself, Fox can have full lives online. I can have a whole virtual existence. I can even have a podcast online. Like, I can have properties online. I can be an airline pilot online. I can be a thug. So what? And that's in a span of what, 50, 40 years? What about 1,000 years? Then 1,000 years, unless there's a ceiling on technology, there's no way that technology doesn't get to the point where it's indistinguishable and that from reality.
but no. Okay.
How?
Yeah. Okay. You see, it's like
what is the GTA of 3056?
I hear what you're trying to say. Basically, what you're saying is
this is
Matrix.
it already.
You know, what you're saying is the Matrix theory, where
simulation theory.
the brain kind of, if you strip it down to its most basic level, the cognitive existence is just electrical impulses that are being read by your brain as a processing unit, and those electrical impulses now, make you feel, touch, or hear, or smell. That's basically what you're trying to say. And that kind of now, in 1,000 years, that those electrical impulses will have been attuned to that level where...
You're complicating it. I'll just ask it again simply. It's as simple as, what is GTA in the year 3074? If in 2000, between what was that one we used to play? Grand Theft Auto of 2000 we used to play on PS.
Vice City.
Yeah, vis-a-vis the one for now.
San Andreas.
In 20 years is so crazy different. What about 3,000 years?
Yeah, but it still goes back to kind of what I was saying about time. I don't believe in the simulation theory at all. Yeah, I don't believe in the simulation theory at all.
I believe in it,
and it goes back to, if you can also believe in the flat earth theory, and they try to disprove it. It's very hard to disprove it. If someone goes and takes a picture, they'll say that was manufactured. If you go, they'll say that you're paid when you come back. So it's impossible to disprove.
No, but if I'm not paid and they say I'm paid, the fact that I was not paid remains true. Truth is an absolute.
To you.
No, truth is an absolute.
Truth is also relative, because at the same time, it's him, if you're trying to convince a whole group of people, unless you take all of them. No,
it's not about convincing. Don't conflate what is true versus what people are convinced is true. Those are two separate concepts. Yeah. Truth remains true.
Yeah. But to who?
So true to the fact of the matter.
Person. No, to the fact of the matter.
To the reality. So right now you're seated here.
Yeah.
If your wife decides you're somewhere in a cafe with another girl because she wants to believe it, the fact remains that you're here.
Yeah.
Even if someone has seen someone who looks like you at a cafe with someone.
But what's that truth?
The fact remains. It's not about her truth. It's about what's true. The fact remains. Truth is an absolute. Now, perception of what is true that's up for interpretation, but the truth itself remains absolute. You're here seated.
Yeah. I feel like we're literally talking over each other's heads. I agree with what you're saying, but I still think that the truth is a relative thing. For him, say for example, there's someone behind the camera, by the way, guys. For him, say he believes that I shot someone, and nothing that I say can convince him otherwise.
Come on, rest in peace.
Come on, rest in peace.
That's insensitive.
You know, he wouldn't. You can't kind of convince someone out of something that they completely believe.
But you see, belief and truth are two separate concepts.
We talked about it in Inception. Yeah. It's the same thing.
Belief and truth are two separate things. What you believe versus what is true need not be the same. But you can also believe what is true and it ends up being true.
Jesus Christ. I think I'm even confused myself.
Do you get what I'm saying? What you believe and what is true are not I can believe something is true and it's not. I can believe something that's true and that also happens to be true. But it being true remains the fact that it's true.
Okay, let's go back to time.
Okay, back to time.
What I was saying was, if we can't even fathom, you were talking about fathoming what is going to be there 3,000 years ago. What about what was there 4.5 billion years ago? What about what was there 2 million years ago? You know? That's why I'm saying that time is...
The guys who are running the simulation would definitely know.
Who is that guy? So you see, that's what I'm saying. There has to be a guy.
No,
you see,
and guy is a generic worldly term, but I just
bearded dude.
A superior entity.
You see, that's what I'm saying. When you think of whatever deity it is, everyone who thinks of a god or whatever it is, they always have somewhat humanoid features.
No, not necessarily.
Somewhat. If you look at majority of the...
you're talking about... Okay,
yeah. Somewhat humanoid features, because no one can conceptualize what a god is without putting themselves there first. And that immediately negates the fact that there is an actual god, because you're inflating your own importance immediately. Yeah? You're trying to say...
Well, certainly, humans
with the size of just our solar system, the vast distances across these bodies that are floating around in space, the size of our solar system on its own, yeah? I remember talking about this on another one of your platforms, talking about how the Voyager 2, I think, is the furthest out. Voyager 1, sorry. Was it 1 or 2? Any one of the Voyagers is now almost in interstellar space, and it's been traveling since 1978 at thousands of kilometers an hour, maybe 11,000 or something like that, and it's only reached interstellar space now. Yeah, so that's the distances that you're talking about, and you are so important.
However,
not you in particular, but as a human being, us human beings, we are so important that this God made us and put us on earth and made the rest of everything just for us.
I agree with what you're saying. For sure, religion, time immemorial have created God in human image, because that's all people can understand. But I like even the concept of time being God that is not out of line with the simulation theory, because whatever 30,056 has to offer will be a representative of however time has moved, what time has done in that time. So I can see how that would make sense. So that's something that's plausible.
Yeah, and even when we are gone, even when the universe is gone, even when black holes have dominated the universe, because that's what's going to probably be the eventual death of our universe. Literally just black holes everywhere. Even at that time will still exist.
And do you think, last spanner in the works, do you think then there is purpose for being, or it's just cause effect? That's
a very good question. I think purpose is what purpose. It's actually even in relation to that message you sent me when I was on the shitter. Our purpose is the day-to-day tasks that we perform.
Jobo.
Yeah.
Wife.
As much as you don't like your
podcast.
job.
I love my job, but they don't get it twisted.
Well, sorry. Not on camera, right?
No, I love my job. I just love flying planes. No, but I do love my job.
Yeah, so we need those jobs. And when some billionaire tries to come and push the fact that that we do not need those jobs, that we should sit down and we'll be happier if we just sit at home and accept money and then use that money to consume what they're making. It's nuts.
It's big. It's good business though on his end.
Yeah, on his end. Yes.
It's almost like evil capitalism.
It's insane. It's
so crazy. I think I'll answer the same question: the purpose of being versus cause and effect. I think within our own cause and effect, we create purpose, and we thrive and now curate our cause and effect around that purpose. So it ends up working out either way, irrespective of whether it's part of the bigger picture or not.
can see you've watched The Matrix quite a few times.
It's been a long time since I watched The Matrix, man.
Really?
Yeah.
You're just talking about, that's the Maravinji talking right there.
Who's the Maravinji? I can't even remember.
The French guy.
I can't remember that.
The French guy, the one who fed.
Sajid was telling me
in
to
the
watch
second
it again. Bro, I've not watched it
in Reloaded. I'm sure you remember the Maravinji.
Since 99, bro. I've not watched it.
You don't remember the two ghosts? Aye, my guy.
I haven't watched it since.
Since 1999. That's the first
Since
Matrix.
it came out. I've not watched it.
You should check it out again. You'll love it.
Anything else you'd like to tell my fans? The guys have missed you, Sana, man. They've been asking for. They've been begging for a Rikie episode, man. But it's been good catching up. It's been too long.
Good catch up.
It's been too long, man. You decided to move to the other side of the world.
You're the one who says, "Oh, I want to catch up. I want to come over and see how you're doing." And it's just
like even now tomorrow I'm supposed to come.
Dreams never happen.
Well, tomorrow I'm supposed to come.
That's not happening.
No. But I'll actually try come. What I'll do is it's okay if I come even later because I'm shooting again. But I told you I'm shooting tomorrow, so I can't just move things around.
Yeah.
So, but I'll make an effort to come. I'll come with Dancer. She's also on leave. We'll come together.
Okay, no worries, man.
I know it means a lot to you, buddy, and I've seen you've worked hard at it, bro.
Doesn't mean a lot,
bro. Though you've hounded me, man.
It doesn't mean. If you're not able to come, you can always come after Easter.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you doing, if I can ask, for Easter? Taking a break.
I'm going to church. I don't know. When is Easter? I don't even know.
Do you see? This is why the Western world is being taken over. Because of these guys who call themselves so-called Christians. I'm not a Christian myself, and I know when Easter is going.
I subscribe to Christian beliefs, sana. Like I said, I've just shared with you my new beliefs. Like I don't think anyone really knows what's going on here. And I feel like everyone who purports to know doesn't. It's fake. No one knows. And that's the human condition to try and understand who we are, where we come from, what's the purpose, is the biggest, most susceptible condition to manipulation. And that's how everyone who's rich, people who've ruled time immemorial, that's what they've capitalized on to govern people. So coming to that understanding has made me look at the world a bit differently. It was a shock in the system.
I saw that episode of Speaking in Tongues. You didn't tell me about that, bro. I would have died.
I didn't talk to you in tongues.
No, you didn't tell me about that. It had reached. He was trying to get me to go to that church.
But also, I didn't try to get you.
You did. You asked me to go. You asked me. You guys should come along. It's fun.
I never.
Little did I know that you are blabbering in your free time.
First of all, I exercise for that clip. I exercise what is known as poetic license. You know what poetic license is?
What is that?
Those who know will know. Poetic license. I embellished the story, man, to make it.
Exactly.
But it's been real, man. Every other time with Eric, another Rikie special. You need to come back more often. I know 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. We're busy. Let's make more time. Let's be more intentional. Thank you for coming. You kept time, bro. It's been fun catching up.
It's definitely, man.
Good to see you in your element.
Shabla babla, shabla. Can't believe that was a thing.
Every other time with Eric, Rikie, it's a wrap. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed till now, then you just come on, man.